What's up, everybody? Mr. Thrasha here, and today we're heading out around the greater Los Angeles area to seek out the filming locations for the 1998 Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler film, The Wedding Singer. We're going to be heading around Pasadena, Sierra Madre, other parts of Los Angeles to seek out as many spots as we can. It's going to be totally awesome. Let's go, Wedding Singer. Standing here now in front of 1425 Orange Grove. This is Rosie's house in The Wedding Singer. Of course, Adam Sandler, his character Robbie Hart, was giving her music lessons on the piano, and she was learning a song for her husband, and then she would pay him off with meatballs. Yeah, meatballs. Which she would proceed to smush into the palms of his hands as they seep through the cracks of his fingers. Oh, sweet little Rosie.
Now, listen to me, Robbie Hart.
There you go, very quaint residence here. 1425 Orange Grove. Same road you will find the Halloween murder houses on, if you were wondering. Stone's throw away from Sunset. That is Rosie's house from The Wedding Singer. Just walk and walk and walk through these beautiful botanical gardens. And you can check out the library too, but here we are, unveiling this beautiful fountain. And this would be the spot where they had the weddings for The Wedding Singer. Look at this fountain. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so we're now where Robbie's wedding took place, and he was stood up. Everybody would have been set up here. I'll show some matchup shots, of course. It's pretty cool to be here. This is the Huntington Gardens. This is where Robbie's wedding took place. Many of these exact statues can be seen in the film. All the seats would have been set up here. George crying, his mascara was running when Robbie was stood up right here. Supposed to be the greatest moment of his life. Shot of the area just where the musicians were set up, and then his sister came to deliver the bad news, but you can see all those statues just over there. Pretty cool. Exact same statues. We'll try to show a couple matchup shots, of course. I don't have anything to go off of right now except pure memory for my undying love for this film. And I believe there's a moment where just before Robbie was supposed to get married, near the beginning of the film, you see Drew Barrymore playing Julia peer out from one of these circular statue things here. God, these all look so cool. Look at this one over here. It's very demonic. It's holding an hourglass. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this can be seen. Drew Barrymore. I can match that statue right there to the left, so I'm standing in the exact same area Drew is standing in as she comes to check out what's happening at Robbie's wedding. Robbie would have had a little dress-up area right before his wedding, and his sister would have come up to him. I'm guessing that dress-up area would have been up there somewhere. Either way, they were all set up here, getting ready for the ceremony, and they could hear him lose his mind after his sister told him that Linda was not coming today. It was a bad note. Poor Robbie. But this opened the door so he could develop a relationship with Julia. Or else she might have become Julia Gulia Julia Gulia. It's pretty cool. Try to match up some shots. Like I said, this looks pretty awesome. Getting a little bit of rain here. This is it, Huntington Gardens. On the wedding singer, right where Robbie was stood up. George was blubbering over here. Adam Sandler, he can never get over. He freaks out there. Rosie, everyone was watching. That's it, Huntington Gardens from the wedding singer. All right, on to another location from the wedding singer. So we've now arrived at Robbie's house. Adam Sandler's house in the film. It is beautiful. Here at 1075 Topeka in North Pasadena. Look at the house. Absolutely gorgeous. Let me get as many shots as I can. Doesn't look like anybody's home right now, and I think these people are quite used to people, wedding singer fans or Adam Sandler fans coming by and checking it out. Look at this house. Here's a shot of Robbie's house from the wedding singer 1998, right after his friend pulls up there. Driveway, everything looks the same. The yellow balcony and that tree right there to the left looks the exact same. You're at 1075 East Topeka. This is pretty cool. Even this little statue, I think, is right over there in the garden of Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler standing in front of the house on the front walkway here. Taking one quick walk here along the walkway. Some angles of Robbie's house in the wedding singer. 1075 East Topeka. Stepping on some leaves here. I love the yellow. Love the yellow here. It's an absolutely gorgeous property. I feel like I'm in the wedding singer. Look at this thing they got hanging from the tree. This statue here. A jester of sorts. This butterfly. In the wedding singer. Just over here would have been Robbie's makeshift apartment. 1075 and a half. They would have set that up right there. That's where his entranceway would have been. Pretty amazing. 1997. Adam Sandler, the wedding singer. Beautiful property. These people should be proud. As I said, I'm pretty sure they did utilize the interiors for quite a few of the scenes. I think the people who live here, they're cool with you taking pictures and everything. They take a lot of pride in this property, in their house, and are fans of the movie too, so. Just after Robbie stood up at his wedding, there's a scene where Alan Covert comes from the road. His vehicle pulls in, singing, "Pasta dolce on the left-hand side." He talks to the gentleman up here. I love this guy. Robbie's sister's husband. And he says, "It's about time his best friend showed up. He's been in the basement since it happened, so I think he's having a mental breakdown or something." Adam Sandler's sitting on the step there after being stood up at the wedding. This is in the evening hours when they film this. It's just before Linda walks up. So after Robbie is stood up at his wedding from Linda, he still has the same oval door up there as well. After he is stood up by Linda, there's a scene inside there. One of the little kids is running around dressed like Freddy Krueger to the sounds of Billy Idol's White Wedding. And Linda eventually shows up, and Adam Sandler is right on the step here. Shot here of the front door, which looks the exact same. Again, I find that really cool, as his sister answers and Robbie came to babysit for the kids. Yeah, that oval glass front door there. Pretty interesting. Right there. That's the door that Robbie shows up to babysit for the kids. It's kind of weird because he lived in the basement. You think he would have just come upstairs. Anyway. Okay, We're now over in Sierra Madre, and this is Julia's house. Julia, who is going to be Julia Gulia. So this is Julia's house in Sierra Madre, right on Sierra Place. And house number is 43. Looks pretty darn similar to the way it did in the film. I'll show some matchup shots, of course. Show you the house in the film, and we'll talk a little bit more about it right after. Here's a shot of Julia's house in the film. First time you see it, actually, in the 1998 film. Notice the house is a different color, different finish on it now. A lot of similarities, though. A lot less going on in the garden here. And there's that car she had in the film. Pretty funny. In a scene where she was singing into the mirror, Glenn surprised Julia right behind her. I'm not sure if they shot that right in the house or not, but it's where Glenn would have went to visit Julia. Do we ever find out Julia's name? We know it was going to be Julia Gulia, but we didn't find out what her maiden name was, did we? Cacti. All this probably was not in the film, as you see by the matchup shot, but house, slightly different color, but it looks pretty cool. That's without a doubt Julia's house in The Wedding Singer. She had many conversations with her mother as well in the film about falling for Robbie Hart, the wedding singer. Was her mom wanted her to marry Glenn for security. Julia's house from The Wedding Singer right here. Get a good look, folks. It's wonderful to be here. I love, it is so hot out, but it's so cool to visit this house that I've seen on screen so many times. Drew Barrymore's house in The Wedding Singer. Julia's house. On Honolulu Avenue here in Montrose, California. This is Avignon's, which was used in The Wedding Singer as the bar. Those scenes took place right here, just a stone's throw away from this, which is now closed down. It was similar to this in the movie. This was a bakery, and this is where they were taste testing the cake and trying on the dresses in the film, right over here. The screen grab from the movie from inside the cake shop when it was open here. Too bad I missed that. Would have went in and got some cake. But there's Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore, Alan Covert, and the rest of them here, and they're taste testing some cake right inside the shop here. Here's a shot outside of the Black Cow Cafe, which acted as Spanky's in the film. So this is after where they're carrying a drunk Drew Barrymore out of the club, which is really the Black Cow Cafe right here, and the alley is just right here to the right. It's actually what would have been the club in The Wedding Singer, where Glenn and Julia and Robbie go on their double date. So Julia's cousin. But it wasn't Black Cow Cafe in the film. The winds are picking up here. It was set dressed, of course, to be a club. This is the alleyway. Glenn comes down with his DeLorean. I'll show you a screen grab afterwards. You can see this sewer in the film, The Wedding Singer. Drives his DeLorean down here. Doors come up and Robbie helps Julia, rather drunk, into Glenn's DeLorean. Says, don't puke on the seats. This is the spot right here. The alleyway from The Wedding Singer. There's a car right now. Told you she was gonna yak. The shot of Glenn as he pulls up before they put Julia into the DeLorean, and you can see that sewer there right in front of him as he inches closer. This is the alleyway just to the right of the Black Cow Cafe here on Honolulu in Montrose. Ben Stiller's wife, her name's escaping me right now, but she had gone on a date with Robbie, and then he drops her back off here and she makes him an offer that if he comes upstairs, because Julia was staying at Glenn's, then he could get laid. But he doesn't take her up on the offer, and that's what lets her know right away that, oh my God, you have a thing for Julia. Pretty awesome. It's pink now. I'll give you a shot to match them up. There were some additional shots when Rosie was talking about his penis, him being nervous about showing a new girl his penis when he was getting married. Of course, that was then a deleted scene. And there's another deleted scene, or maybe it's extended scenes from the DVD version I have, where she's working out. He's telling her to be careful. He's setting up the weights for her. And Julia shows up here to Rosie's house. And she's looking for Robbie, and he goes, he went into the city to look for work. He wants to make money. You can't expect him to live forever in his sister's basement with all the nipple twisting that goes on there. So yeah, here's a shot of Rosie's house from The Wedding Singer, 1998. Here on Orange Grove. It definitely does not look like a New Jersey home, like where the film is set. Definitely looks like something you'd find here in Hollywood. Tried to see if Avignon's was open so I can see where he was trying to teach the old man the moonwalk, and Robbie went in there after going to see Julia, and they're doing the moonwalk, and says, oh, it's okay, I don't need another drink, I brought my own. He said, you can't drink it out here. So he said, okay, I'll go finish up in the alley. He came out. I wish I could get in there. It doesn't seem to be open, unfortunately. He's gonna have a drink, shoot the interiors. Actually, it would have been just over here. Adam Sandler is coming from the bar, decided to go tell Julia how he felt. There's the view of Julia's house right here, and he was walking up here. He then saw Julia up there in the windows. Those were the windows he would have seen her in. He must have been closer than this, or else he's got some very good eyes. But she was up there in the window, practicing, introducing herself to people at the wedding, saying, hello, I'm Julia Gulia. And then she started thinking if her last name was Hart, she could introduce herself as Mrs. Robbie Hart, which put a big smile on her face. So when Adam Sandler, Robbie, approaches from this exact spot, he's slightly drunk and he sees the happy look and twinkle in her eye, but thinks she's happy about marrying Glenn, so he turns around and heads back to the bar. This shot from where I'm standing, right here, is where Adam Sandler was standing, right on the corner in front of Julia's house, and this shot is actually from out of her window during the film, and she's looking in the mirror. And it's upon exiting the bar at one point that Robbie, the old man, and Alan Covert run into Glenn and his buddies having a night out on the town. Robbie tries to tell him, you know, he doesn't want to come party. What are you doing? She's a good girl. He says, don't go snitching to Julia. And then Robbie is basically the one that challenges him to a fight right here. Instead, the old man decides to take a swing. Glenn barely even flinches. I don't even know if he connected.
I'm sorry. I used to be much stronger.
Here's a shot of Sandler and Alan Covert and the old man in front of Avignon's, so you can see the bricks behind them there. There's this right in front of the main entrance when they're talking to Glenn and the rest of his bachelor party. So there's no more neon and lights behind the old man anymore. It's just the brick. Sorry, I used to be much stronger. I can't believe that took place right here.
Sounds like a country song.
There has been maybe some new paint jobs, but it still looks like Robbie's house from The Wedding Singer. Adam Sandler. Filmed here. Huge Adam Sandler fan, so it's an honor to be here. So, with the scene when Linda shows up and everything, Robbie's entrance, as you notice in the movie, is 1075 and a half. I'll show a screen grab of that. Here's another shot of Robbie's house here. When Drew Barrymore pulls up, Julia pulls up to tell Robbie she's fallen for him. And you can see Robbie's makeshift entryway here on the side of the house. So that's not really there. That was just added for the film as a way he got down to his place of residence in the basement. And he went in that way. That gate was not there. So they'd made a fake entranceway, and he lived in the basement. Linda would rescue Robbie later in the film after he got drunk at the bar. He ends up passing out here on the property, and she takes him back down to the basement where he was residing. And then Julia shows up the following morning, and Linda's in his Van Halen t-shirt and says she's Robbie's fiance. Then Julia rushes to Glenn's and they head off to Vegas before Robbie then heads off to Vegas and, with the help of Billy Idol and some other friends on the plane, foils the marriage plans and gets to marry Julia himself. Turns out to be a happy ending. What a great film, though. All the scenes filmed here and at the other spots as well. One more establishing shot of Robbie's house here in North Pasadena. Absolutely beautiful. Gaze eyes on this house. Love it. And this tree would have been in the film as well. When Alan Covert pulls in beside it, anybody else makes basically most shots of the house, you'll end up seeing this tree. The end of the laneway. Right here, ending it back at the Huntington Gardens, where I believe Robbie and Julia's wedding took place. Right here. I said many of these exact statues have been seen in the film. So cool to be here. Please like, please subscribe. Always doing something different here on the Mr. Thrasha Show. Film and locations, museums, art, architecture, all kinds of stuff to see on the Mr. Thrasha Show. So from the Huntington Gardens in San Marino, right where they filmed the wedding scenes for The Wedding Singer. Please like, please subscribe. Subscribe and let you know when a new episode goes up. You never know what you may be missing. What we'll be doing here on the Mr. Thrasha Show. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And the final scene of the movie right here, after Robbie marries Julia, we end here at Huntington Gardens in San Marino. And Steve Buscemi was playing that song, Robbie and Julia, as they went down the aisle. One more time, everybody. Wedding Singer locations. Check out my other filming locations. There's a filming locations playlist on my channel. And thanks again, everybody. Especially if you stayed to the end of the video. Please like, please subscribe. Never know what you may be missing unless you tune in to the Mr. Thrasha Show.